Welcome to Dr.MaryOz's Radical Change Now radio program. Today you will learn how to combine healing and the law of attraction to better your own life in mere weeks. Join us on our journey, which starts right now. Here's your host, Dr. Mary Oz.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Radical Change Now, where we care about your healing, transformation, and the big changes that you want in life and the ones that you deserve. And we're here to guide you to find that healing, transformation, and radical change. And sometimes that might involve working with us. And at other times, it might involve working with one of our powerful guests that we've invited to the show. So I'd like to welcome Lisa Sanfilippo to the show. Welcome, Lisa.
Hi, Dr. Mary. Thank you so much. I love being here. Thank you for the honor of being a guest on your show.
Yeah, well, I'm so glad you said yes, and we're going to have you this week, and we're going to have you next week. And I want to share with our audience that you are a nurse, you're a Quantum Success Coaching Academy certified Law of Attraction life coach, a speaker, and a trainer. And you are also the founder and owner of the Sanfilippo Institute for Personal Transformation, a unique and leading-edge coaching and training company. And I know as a professional nurse, a life coach, a speaker, and a transformational leader, you have this great big passion to work with individuals who want to care more about themselves, improve their quality of life, and most importantly, reclaim their work-life balance. So welcome to the show, and I think you have a very important message to a lot of our listeners today.
Oh, thank you so much. Yes, I think it's going to be a great conversation.
So one of the things I want to share with our listeners right off the bat is that your message is for nurses. So I want to give a shout out to all the nurses in the world, because I don't think it's easy to be a nurse. It's a profession I've never had and never chose. And I don't know that nurses really get appreciated enough sometimes. So for all the nurses that are listening, or if you have a family member that's a nurse, or a best friend, or a favorite nurse that once helped you through a rough time, kind of want to just really dedicate the show to nurses, because you're on this mission, right, to inspire, expand, and transform the lives of 1 million nurses and healthcare providers with your Up-Level Your Life initiative, which promotes self-care. And you are the nurse for nurses, yet you also coach everyday people. And you coach not only nurses, but people that are in the healthcare field and might be feeling out of balance, stressed, and burned out. True?
Yes, that is so correct. Yes, I have a passion to work with people in healthcare, particularly nurses, because my background is in nursing. But I also have this passion to expand that in a much larger way and work with people who experience the same symptoms and same pain points. So it does go much broader and much more global. However, I do a lot of work with people in healthcare.
Awesome. And before we begin, I also just want to let my audience know that I'm really excited that you're on the show today, because you and I initially met in Christy Whitman's Quantum Success Coaching Academy, which she's been on our earlier shows in I think it was like October or something of last year. But you and I actually met in her program. But then we also have this very close relationship in Lisa Sasovich's SASI program as well.
Yes. And I think, it's so, you could call it synchronicity. I don't know, but I certainly see that it was the law of attraction at work for you and I to show up in each other's lives and develop what I call both a personal and professional relationship. So I think it is fantastic. I know, I had set these intentions for very strong, confident, positive, and beautifully spirited women to show up in my life, both personally and professionally. And there you were.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And, I have a little note here, too, to myself, because I was thinking before the show, I was actually ho'oponoing about our show today, because I do that before all the shows. And I was thinking to myself, one of the things I love about Lisa the most is that you are really beautiful on the inside and the outside. And you have a very like grounded personality. And I just know when I met you, I was like, this is a strong woman. And I don't get this sense often. Like, it takes me a while to really trust people. But I got this sense from you, like, this is a grounded woman. She's beautiful on the inside. She's beautiful on the outside. She's got a really good head. She's got organized thoughts, which I love. And just that you were solid. You have a powerful presence. But most importantly is that you're trustworthy. So I really appreciate that about you.
Oh, thank you so much, Dr. Mary. What a wonderful compliment. I feel really honored to, because I think so highly of you. And so for you to share such heartfelt stuff just really means the world to me. Thank you so much.
Oh, well, I can only share honest, truthful conversation. And then also, just like you said, really, I feel it's just a testimonial to the law of attraction working in my life, because I too put an intention out there to co-create with people and ask the law of attraction to send me people that would complement my life, right? And really help my life to be a blessing, and I could give back the same to them as well. So it's good to know that we are on the same page.
Yeah, I so definitely relate to everything that you're saying.
So we have this show plan today called Balance Breakthrough, taking the first step to releasing stress and burnout and achieving work-life balance. So tell us a little bit about your background and how you came to share this message with the world.
Well, I've worked in healthcare for over 30 years as a registered nurse, in various roles throughout the years. I started out in direct care. My primary focus has been in critical care in some way, shape, or form. I've worked in emergency medicine and trauma. I've done post-recovery care. And then I moved into training and development. I always had this desire and passion to want to teach and uplift people. So I spent 7 years in training development department in healthcare, which was probably one of the most fabulous experiences I have ever had. I really grew so much in working in that area. And then I went into nursing leadership. I spent about 10 years in nursing leadership as a critical care nurse manager. During that time, I also got my master's degree in business administration. I thought it was very important as a nurse to also be able to have a business sense. My focus was in leadership and management because I also have a passion for leadership. And then, from there, I got my certification as a nurse leader through American Organization of Nurse Executives. And as you introduced me at the beginning of the show, I ended up starting my own business, the Sanfilippo Institute for Personal Transformation. And, prior to that, I did work and actually attracted Christy Whitman's Quantum Success Coaching Academy. I did her whole coaching certification. And it was really through that powerful transformation work that I realized that learning how energy works, energy and vibration works, combined with outward physical steps you take for success in your life. It was that combination. It was the missing piece. Like, a lot of us take a lot of outward steps to produce success in our lives, but what we're missing is the internal energy work that aligns us with the success what we want. And so really it was that powerful combination that led me to want to select law of attraction coaching combined with other holistic approaches and other success principles in my own coaching business to help uplift the lives of others.
Yeah, I love that. And, we do that too. Like, we have a coaching company, but we infuse Ho'oponopono healing and law of attraction. And it's just such a powerful way to go, right? Because you get to help people learn not only like one approach or address one area of their life, but with the different modalities combined in your own unique approach. I feel like we end up having a powerful message that attracts the right people at the right time for the message that you have.
Absolutely. I agree with that 100%.
Yeah. So you have a lot of impressive nursing experience, and this is kind of like off the cuff a little bit here for you. But I was wondering, since we have this beautiful platform with Voice America, would you give out a little shout out to the nurses? Like, if you could say something to the nurses of the world who might be listening to the show, and you've been immersed in the nursing world,
Yeah.
What would you want the nurses to know, or what would you appreciate about nurses?
Well, with over 30 years experience in healthcare, I have seen so much over the years. I have personally, provided direct care. I spent a period of time training others in how to, develop their skills, knowledge, and expertise to be the best type of nurse that they can possibly be. And then as a nursing leader, it was a tremendous responsibility to lead my team to success and get them all on board and producing phenomenal patient satisfaction. But through those 30 years of experience, the one thing that has totally amazed me over the years is just the kind, caring, compassionate nature of nurses. And what a lot of people don't realize, unless you are working in healthcare, is the degree that they go to deliver the very best care to their patients. And my message to them is, because they give so much of themselves, they tend to put themselves last on the priority list. I have seen them go so far above and beyond that, the most amazing, most beautiful stories of patient care delivery. And so my message to them is that it is okay to put yourself first. It is okay to make sure that you're creating time for self-care and personal transformation, because in order to do the work that you're doing, and that work is so meaningful and so beautiful, but to do that day in, day out, because healthcare is challenging. It's very hard work, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. And to do that work in it, day in and day out, it requires you to care for yourself, because you really cannot care for others until you care for yourself. And you cannot show up and be the best version of you until you take care of yourself. And it just really is one way to uplift yourself as a person, and it is a way to uplift yourself in your nursing practice. And these messages that I'm sending out to nurses right now aren't only just for nurses, they're for everyday people. It's for the people who just give so much of themselves, and they fall out of balance in life.
Yeah. And, I know myself, I'm a healthcare provider, right? So counselor, coach. And same thing for me. Sometimes to really keep a healthy balance of giving, working, self-care, and self-love, that could be challenging when, just like a nurse, you're in a place of where you want to give and you have a gift to give. And I think for nurses, they like to give a lot of love, and you want to give it all the time. But then you really have to find that balance so that you have more to give from a healthy place. So,
yeah, and go ahead.
You go. That's okay. Go ahead. I was just going to say I love your message. So.
Oh, thank you. Well, one of the things I learned many years ago when I was in training development, we used to do. We had permission, and we did Stephen Covey, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And one of the things I learned back then, and I keep it with me today, is, about the whole emotional bank account. So it's like we, through life, we need to put deposits in our emotional bank account. And if we keep giving and giving, that's the equivalent of taking withdrawal from the bank account. And if you withdraw more money, or you withdraw more than you're actually putting in, then you're left depleted. And so I carry that around with me today. And, I know for me personally, working in healthcare, the 30 years, combined with some other things that were going on in my life, I got to a point where I was feeling depleted and stressed and burnout, and it's not a place that feels good. So, and I've always been the type of person that I set healthy boundaries. But when you work in healthcare, the challenge, because the demands are so high, the question is, how do you find that balance? How do you get back to your center of your true self and feel that freedom and that joy and just that zest for life? That's very important.
Yeah, absolutely. So something must have led you to expand your nursing career and start coaching others, correct?
Yeah, so it's an interesting story, and it's kind of funny in a way. When I look back at my journey through life, it was this thing that kept tapping me on the shoulder. It was like this internal calling at the soul level. And it kept tapping. And, I wanted to listen to it, but I kind of had defined myself in a certain way, and with my career as a nurse. And, when I look back in my early years, my grandmother was a nurse. That inspired me to get my nursing degree. And, I loved over the years taking care of patients and the families. But at the same time, I really had this huge passion and side interest for personal development. It was actually kind of like a joke in my family because, if I was reading anything at all, I was always reading personal development stuff. And my mom would joke with me and she'd say, Lisa, don't you ever read anything else besides that personal development stuff? And I would just laugh because, I loved it. And then the 7 years I spent in training development, I coached people, and I realized I loved training and coaching people. And, from there, it's kind of like I had this aha moment. Like when I was in that period of my life, I could actually visualize and I could see myself up on a big stage in front of like thousands of people. And, I come from a background where when I was younger, my parents were divorced. It kind of threw us into a low income state. And I came from a small town, so I didn't think any of this was available to me back then. And it has been through doing the work and the transformational work that, I realized that I can be, do, and have everything that I desire. And that is something that I learned from Christy Whitman.
Yeah. I can actually relate to those stories because I remember as young as 5th grade reading personal self-development books.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And if I actually thought about it, there was one spiritual book like Are You There, God? I think for Marjorie something was the author. And there was just 2 or 3 books. Another one was The Greatest Miracle in the World by Agmendino. And those books just got me hooked on personal self-development. But I was really young when I did that. And so it's funny, I can relate to that story. And I very rarely read novels. So.
Yeah. At some point in time after my mom teased me enough, I started reading some novels, something that was not personal development. But, for me, and some people might not, I think a lot of people can relate to it, but some people can't. But there's something that is actually down at the soul level that your soul just keeps talking to you and talking to you and talking to you. And we can tend to push it down, and which is, it doesn't serve us to do that. It is really only through allowing our soul to talk to us and to bring that up to the surface and to shine our light and to be what we're called to be. And so for me, I realized it was always this very divinely seeded thing that was planted in me through, my gifts and what I can share with the world and how I can serve the world.
Yeah, I love that. And it is true. Sometimes we know that from when we are a child. When you're a child, whether it's dreams or ambitions, but you just know there's more and you're meant for more, and you don't have all the answers in the path. But I know a lot of leaders and people that are really making a difference in the world talk about they knew that from early on. So I agree with you. That's coming from a soul level. Mm-hmm. So some point along the way, you became a law of attraction life coach, right?
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Well, you and I met in Christy Whitman's, Quantum Success Coaching Academy. We weren't in the same class, but, it was actually through that work, and I kind of briefly highlighted on it earlier. That happened for me back in, actually, prior to that, I was introduced to the law of attraction in 2010. I was going through like a really challenging and stressful time in my life. And one of my friends, her name is Lucy Bill, she actually introduced me to the law of attraction. And I began studying it, applying it in my life. I wasn't real consistent at first, so I would have things that would show up and I would manifest, but it was kind of inconsistent. And then through that work, though, I did attract Christy's Quantum Success Coaching Academy. And that kind of came across my lap in an email and her program. And that came across my lap in 2010. I actually talked to Christy Whitman back then, but I wasn't ready. It was when she was first starting and getting her whole coaching program up and running. And flash forward 4 years later, I saw she was opening it up again. And this is the funniest story. She was opening up her coaching program again. It was for the fall of 2014. And I knew I was at a point in my life that I just had to take the leap. I had to, follow my heart, follow my dream. And literally, I listened to one of her audios where she was describing the program, and before I could even say no or talk myself out of it, I literally went and got my wallet, got my credit card, and I paid for it.
Right.
And, flash forward, it was a year-long program, and it has been probably the most transformational work I have ever done in my whole life. And since then, I've just been continuing to up-level, and now I want to take and what I do now is take this work to other people and help them see how they can use the law of attraction and other success principles and holistic approaches to create the life of their dreams.
So you're mentioning that you were experiencing some challenges and stressful times in your life. Tell us about how you actually related the law of attraction to the work that you do now. Mm-hmm.
Well, some of the stressful and challenging things that I was going through was, working in healthcare. It's very demanding work. I had a large span of control, 24/7 accountability of 2 critical care units. It's a very rapid cycle change environment. I also had, and I was working very long hours. Like sometimes I would work 10, 14, 16-hour days. I would leave the house at 6:30 in the morning, not get home till 7 or 8 at night. Sometimes I even had to stay over till 1 or 2 in the morning. So it was something that was certainly taking its toll on me. And then I also had some personal family issues. I have a family member, a loved one who was struggling with drug addiction for many years. It was unmanaged, and it was probably the most extreme pain and difficult thing that I ever went through in my whole entire life. And then on a personal level, I was challenged with, I don't want to say challenged, but I was personally going through a menopause transition about 7 years early. And the doctors didn't quite know what was going on with me because they kept saying, no, you're too early, And, with that came some hormonal imbalances that, caused, a mild depression that, I did get treatment for. I had that typical brain fog. So all of those 3 things combined, which, can happen to anybody. We all have different things that go on in our lives.
Absolutely.
And it's the cumulative effect that causes stress and can lead to burnout. But for me, how I use the law of attraction to transition and actually increase my health, increase my well-being, increase my joy, increase my freedom, and increase my work-life balance is, I got in alignment. And this is one of the things Christy Whitman teaches or taught us, alignment and momentum. So you have to energetically get aligned with a desire. So the more and more I focused on stress and overwhelm, the more and more that I attracted that in my life. Yes. And then though, I shifted that and I pivoted that, and I got very, very clear about what I wanted in my life, how I wanted to feel, what I wanted to show up, what did I want to manifest. I got very clear on that. So not what I didn't want, but what I did want. And then I energetically aligned with that through shifting my emotional vibration from those negative feeling emotions to the positive feeling emotions. And from there, when you get into that positive vibration, that is the only way that you can manifest your desire. And so for me, my desire was work-life balance. My desire was not to feel tired and exhausted, but to feel vibrant and full of energy. My desire was to create a business that I love and something where I feel like my purpose and my passion I can share that with the world, and also create the hours that I want to work and, all that goes with it. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, absolutely. So we are going to go to a quick commercial break, but I want to let our audience know we're here with Lisa Sanfilippo, and we're talking about how everything is energy, alignment and momentum is important in your life, and that she's talking about when we learn how to shift our emotional vibrations from not working in our life to working and bringing us to balance, we feel better and we we show up better in life. So we're going to take a quick commercial break. I want to encourage everyone to go to Dr.MaryOz, freegifts.com. Lisa has a gift for us at that site. It's Dr.MaryOz, freegifts.com. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we've got more of Lisa Sanfilippo, some amazing messages she's going to share. She's going to talk to us about the difference between stress and burnout, and we'll tell you more about that free gift from Lisa.
Find out what makes the most successful people tick. Keep listening to the Voice America Empowerment Channel. VoiceAmericaEmpowerment.com.
Are you ready to take the 30-day life-changing challenge that everyone is raving about? In this quick and easy guide, Dr. MaryOz reveals how you can get started with your own life-changing challenge and begin receiving the results, healing, and transformation you have been longing for. If you love quick, easy, and powerful, this is a must for you. Get your hands on a copy instantly at RadicalChangeNow.com by providing your name and email so you can get started today. Your time is now, and we are here to help you get your radical change. Are you loving the content that Radical Change Now has been sharing? Looking for more insights, strategies, and advice? Voice America is happy to announce Dr. MaryOz's new online TV show called Life-Changing Results with Dr. MaryOz. Come join as she reveals what it takes to have an amazing relationship with yourself, others, and the universe in ways that are not only healthy, but also extraordinary. If you are all about attracting and achieving life-changing results quickly and easily, this is for you. Join us at voiceamerica.tv and search for life-changing results. Radical change is when we receive the big changes in life that we want and deserve. The big changes that we tend to believe are difficult or not even possible. Are you interested in creating your own radical change? Dive deep with one of our coaches while we focus on you and your individual breakthrough. Our discovery session is designed to uncover hidden challenges that may be blocking you and provide you with a proven plan to achieve the change you seek once and for all. Call 1-833-447-CHANGE or visit RadicalChangeNow.com/discovery.
Follow us on Twitter for more great ideas at Voice America Empowerment.
You are listening to Radical Change Now with Dr. MaryOz. If you'd like to participate in our discussion today, the phone lines are open. Reach us at 1-888-346-9141. That's 1-888-346-9141. Let's get back to Radical Change Now. Here again is Dr. MaryOz.
Welcome back, everybody. We're here with Lisa Sanfilippo, a certified law of attraction life coach, speaker, and trainer. Welcome back, Lisa.
Thank you.
I was thinking maybe you could share with our audience, what's the difference between stress and burnout?
Yeah, that's a great question because we can tend to confuse the two. Stress in general is something that is very universal and we all experience and we're expected to experience it. You know, it's something that can be positive to motivate us. It can give us that extra boost that we need to perform well. However, too much of it is really detrimental to our health because what happens when we experience stress, whether it's positive stress or negative stress, is that it signals the sympathetic nervous system, which in layman's term, that's just our natural fight or flight response. And so the brain releases cortisol, and that increases your heart rate and your blood pressure. And, you know, thousands of years ago, that response, the natural response of that was created to, warn us of danger so that we could easily get away from danger. But, life has changed. We don't have the same kind of dangers we had thousands of years ago when there were saber-toothed tigers. So, but, if you have persistent stress, and you don't get a handle on it early or manage it effectively, over time it can damage the body, which really, stress is negative energy. And when we talked about the law of attraction, it really actually comes from a place of lack. And so the more stress we experience, the more stress we're going to experience. As compared to burnout is really just, it's a chronic state of stress that leads to 3 primary overall symptoms. Each one of those primary overall symptoms has their own individual list of signs and symptoms. The first primary overall symptom is physical and emotional exhaustion. The second one is cynicism and detachment. And then the third are feelings of ineffectiveness and lack of accomplishment. And, burnout can occur on a continuum. So far to the left could be just mild signs and symptoms of stress or burnout. And far to the right of the continuum can be a really severe case of burnout. And what's most important to note is, sometimes people don't recognize when they're in it or it's starting to show up in their lives because it's very insidious and it can just kind of creep in over time like a small leak or something. So it can be hard to recognize. But, our bodies and our minds do give us warning signs that, if we pay attention to it, we can catch it early and treat it before it becomes unmanageable.
Wow, that's really helpful. I like how you made the distinctions between the two of them. So I know you were sharing a little bit about your own personal story. So I'm assuming that you experienced some stress and burnout yourself, and that's part of your story and part of your message today?
Yeah, I shared my perfect storm earlier, what it was like to manage the high demands of healthcare, going through a family issue of a person with addiction, and then my own personal, medical transition through menopause. And those three things combined, I think, any one thing could probably have been manageable. But the three things combined, I really had some things show up in my life that was very insidious and crept in over time. And, I definitely see myself as a high achiever. So I'm one who think I can do it all. I have very high tolerance and very high resilience, but what I found that crept in for me was the physical and emotional exhaustion, the loss of energy, and I heard Tristan Truscott, he, on one of his shows that I listened to, he defined it really in a way that I hadn't thought about before, but people can come actually energetically numb. And that's kind of how I was feeling. I also had, this mild depression and certainly the weight gain from not eating right and not having time to exercise. But one of the things that really bothered me is because I take a lot of pride in my work and I like to produce results, and I did. Our ICU, we were one of five ICUs in the state of Pennsylvania that achieved the American Association of Critical Care Nurses Beacon Level Award, and that really is an award on nursing excellence, and it takes a lot of work to achieve that. So we were really proud to be one of only 5 ICUs in the state of Pennsylvania to get it. But what I was about to say is, when you're going Mach 10 with your hair on fire and you're doing that for, 10 years, what happened to me is I developed a loss of enjoyment in my work, in my family life. I started to isolate myself from being energetically numb, where, I lost my interest in socializing. Or if I was present, I wasn't fully present. And so, doing this transformational work, I am 100% different today by doing this work. I am so happy. I'm full of joy. I feel great. And, it wasn't just the law of attraction work, and we're going to talk more about this next week, but it's how I incorporated other holistic approaches in my life, like meditation and tapping. And we'll get more into that next week when we have our conversation. But, those are the things that showed up for me.
Yeah, I think you remind me of a time in my life, too, where, I was working so hard for so long. I remember thinking I just wasn't feeling great. So I started to started to sense my own little perfect storm going on, like you're talking about. So I intentionally changed my work schedule, and I took some commitments that I actually love doing off my plate. And one of them was like a daily commitment. And I just said, I just I'm showing up and I don't feel right. And although I don't want to give this commitment up, I need to give it up. Mm-hmm. And my friend would call me and say, can we get back to doing what, that commitment, what we were working on? And I kept saying to her, I really can't. And, what kind of scared me was I actually had worked so hard, so long, and been overcommitted that it's kind of like a silly analogy, but it's true. I literally felt like by taking some things off my plate and working less, I felt like I was thawing out. And,
yeah.
It kind of was like a wake-up call for me, because I was like, I was really like sad and mad at myself. Like, you pushed yourself so hard, and it really took like 4 months for that feeling to go away. Mm-hmm. And when I experienced that, I remember saying to myself, I'm never going to do that again. Like, Mary, like that was like too much. Like, that's not healthy. Like, so I don't want to be committed to that. So
yeah, when I personally made lifestyle changes, it was like, I thought, okay, at the end of 3 months after the major lifestyle changes, when I started my business and everything, it took me like 3 to 6 months to like really, like you said, thaw out. And you look back and you realize, wow, I knew I was feeling bad, but I didn't realize how bad I was feeling, because now I see how great I feel. Right. You know what I mean? And that impact, of that, you can just go through the motions and do what you need to do, because, you have responsibilities and you have things you need to take care of. And so, you just go through the motions and do what you need to do, but it isn't until you stop and you really start taking care of yourself that you realize.
Yeah, it's true. Lisa, if it's okay with you, I feel like we have this powerful coaching moment right here. So maybe together you and I could co-coach our audience. And, I just think this is a perfect time to say to the audience, you can hear Lisa being vulnerable, right? And I'm vulnerable when I tell you that I took 4 months to thaw out. And I'm holding back a little bit, so I'm not going to hold back. And what I didn't want to say to you was that during that thawing out, the analogy is I literally felt like a piece of meat, like just thawing out, right? So I wanted to invite our audience to be really honest with themselves right now, right? Like, where in life, perhaps you're an overachiever, perhaps you're not, but where in life are you just pushing way too hard? Right? Where in life are you out of balance? Where in life are you experiencing stress and or burnout and not being honest with yourself, or not even paying attention? And one more challenge, and then I'll see if you have any questions for our audience too, is, where in life are you showing up, loving, withdrawing everything from your emotional bank account that Lisa spoke about, and you've got nothing left, and you might even be mad that you're still not giving, right? So just some powerful questions for our audience to think about. Would you want to add to that, or have a question or advice for our audience, Lisa?
Well, I think my advice, and I actually learned this from Jack Canfield, is not a powerful question, but a really reflective thought. And it's actually, it's in my free gift that we're going to talk about here in a little bit, where I quote Jack Canfield about taking 100% responsibility for our lives. And, we are responsible, 100% responsible for exactly where we are on any given day, our thoughts, our emotions, what we do, what we don't do. And it's so easy I could have easily, working in healthcare, I could have, easily blamed my organization. The family stress, I could easily blame, what's going on with my family member. All that stuff. We can look outside of ourselves for, as a way to blame as to why we're feeling the way that we're feeling. But when we take 100% responsibility and accountability, you come from such a more powerful place that we are where we are because we choose to be where we are.
Yeah, I love that. In fact, we actually just did a TV show on that, Life-Changing Results with Dr.MaryOz, and the whole message of our Radical Change coaching program is we're 100% responsible for everything that shows up in our life. Yeah.
Yes.
So, Lisa, we have 3 minutes before we take another commercial break. So I'm going to throw 2 questions combined at you. Okay. So who is at risk for the stress and burnout that we're talking about? And what happens if people don't wake up and take time to address the stress and the burnout?
Well, real quickly, who's not at risk? I think that's the bigger question, because everybody is at risk for stress and burnout. We have a very busy society. There are some occupations and personality traits that put people more at risk, and there's a higher incidence in those. Certainly people in the helping profession like nurses, doctors, social workers, but even teachers and law enforcement. And I'm surprised in my research, even people who work in fast food and retail.
That's interesting.
I know. I thought it'd be very interesting. And really what's related to fast food and retail is there's that perceived feeling of that they have lower value and their pay is usually not the same as some other higher paying professions. And so it goes back to value. Am I worthy? Personality types are certainly high achievers, people who like to be in control of their environments, or people who take on too many responsibilities. What's the cost of settling and not addressing stress and burnout? Well, it's really going to impact and it's going to show up in all areas of your life. We try to isolate it, but it really shows up in every area: your health, your well-being, your romantic relationships, your career. It could cost you promotion. It could cost you productivity. It could cost you, job loss. And quality time with family and friends, or just having peace of mind. And certainly, most of all, and what my work is the inability to show up and be the best version of you, experiencing the most extraordinary life that is available to you, if you choose it.
Yeah, and I think we are so busy sometimes we don't think about those impacts, right? Like I know a lot of people, myself included, sometimes you're so busy, you're so wound up about what you're working on that I don't always prioritize the people in my life that I want to prioritize, or get to all the things that really make me happy and healthy that I share with others, right? So quality of time with family and friends, peace of mind and happiness. It's like so easy to forget about that stuff.
Yeah, and it's really a matter of getting back and really, when you take the time to get quiet and reflect and be still, then you can get in alignment and get awareness of your values and what's really important to you. And you can say, oh my gosh, I'm going to get off this hamster wheel because I'm not enjoying life. And what is it I really want? And so that's when you can get in alignment and take inspired action to achieve that.
I love that. And, I'm sure our listeners realize, and they're thinking about this too, because I know you and I have talked about this before, but this is really an epidemic problem, burnout, right? It's epidemic. It
is epidemic. It's huge. And, I alluded to, it's not just helping professions, but it's other people as well. But, one interesting statistic in why I have a passion to work with nurses is because, everybody counts on healthcare. Everybody, is going to need healthcare. And there are 20 million nurses worldwide. There are 3 million nurses in the U.S., and there's a 10% reported burnout rate in nurses. Wow. So that's 300,000 nurses. And I know from my experience, I'm telling you that statistic is higher. That's just the reported number.
Right. That makes sense.
So it's epidemic. It's not just healthcare. It's, other professions.
Well, we're going to go to another quick commercial break. But before we go, I want to thank you, Lisa. I know you have a gift for our Voice America listeners today. And you're going to be sharing with us a balance breakthrough self-discovery assessment. And after the commercial, you're going to explain to us exactly what that is and share with us how that can help our listeners today. But in the meantime, during this break, you guys are going to want to go to Dr.MaryOz, freegifts.com. That's gifts, GIFTS, with an S in there. Dr. Mary Oz, freegifts.com. Go to that site. You'll scroll down. You'll see lovely Lisa's picture and the title of today's show, which is Balance Breakthrough, taking the first step to releasing stress and burnout and achieving work-life balance. Just click, give us your email, and you will be able to get her information on this self-discovery assessment. We'll be back in a few.
Live up to your fullest potential. This is the Voice America Empowerment Channel.
Radical Change Now cares about your healing, transformation, and opportunity to create the radical change you want and deserve in your relationships and in your life. Dr. MaryOz and her guests are powerful and effective healers, coachers, mentors, and energy workers that are already transforming their clients' lives in powerful ways. Each week, we share valuable insights and advice that helps you achieve the next level of healing and transforming. Visit our gift page to see all the valuable free downloads and webinars at DrMaryOzFreeGifts.com. Are you loving the content that Radical Change Now has been sharing? Looking for more insights, strategies, and advice? Voice America is happy to announce Dr. Mary Oz's new online TV show called Life-Changing Results with Dr. Mary Oz. Come join as she reveals what it takes to have an amazing relationship with yourself, others, and the universe in ways that are not only healthy, but also extraordinary. If you are all about attracting and achieving life-changing results quickly and easily, this is for you. Join us at voiceamerica.tv and search for life-changing results. Are you ready to take the 30-day life-changing challenge that everyone is raving about? In this quick and easy guide, Dr. Mary Oz reveals how you can get started with your own life-changing challenge and begin receiving the results, healing, and transformation you have been longing for. If you love quick, easy, and powerful, this is a must for you. Get your hands on a copy instantly at RadicalChangeNow.com by providing your name and email so you can get started today. Your time is now, and we are here to help you get your radical change.
Friend us on Facebook to keep up with what's empowering the world. Voice America Empowerment.
You are listening to Radical Change Now with Dr. Mary Oz. If you'd like to participate in our discussion today, the phone lines are open. Reach us at 1-888-346-9141. That's 1-888-346-9141. Let's get back to Radical Change Now. Here again is Dr. Mary Oz.
So we're here with Lisa Sanfilippo, and we've been talking about stress and burnout and how it impacts all the different areas of our lives, and it can catch up with us and we don't even notice creeping in, and it really affects us at both work and home. And I thought maybe, Lisa, I know you're very solution-oriented. So in your world, the solution to stress and burnout is creating life balance. So tell us a little bit about life balance.
Well, the promise to our audience is that, we know that stress and burnout can impact us negatively. So the opposite of that is what is possible for addressing stress and burnout and doing this important work. And so, one of the promises is that you can definitely experience improved health and well-being. You can experience less stress and you can actually build your resilience, which is a big topic in healthcare now, helping nurses become more resilient, but anybody can benefit from being more resilient because you can bounce back from the stressors that do occur in your life. And you certainly can experience more freedom to have work-life balance, more joy, more fun, and more adventure because, when you have life balance and you slow down and create that work-life balance in your life, you have time to think and reflect and dream about what else you want to attract in your life, so you can create more adventure and other things that you want to come into your life. And certainly, if you're feeling exhausted and emotionally exhausted from stress and burnout, well, the opposite of that is replenished energy and vitality for life and just overall improved quality of life. And, one of my goals and my passion is to help people strive for and achieve peak performance. So both at home and at work. And lastly, just showing up, being the best version of you in this lifetime and this human experience.
So if I'm listening correctly, Lisa, I'm thinking about you shared today some personal experiences that were challenging, and you did that self-honesty, and you saw that perfect storm, and you really took time to figure out what you needed and what had to change and how to find that life balance. And out of that, you came out with this new mission, right? We call it Be Your Best Self, Share Your Best Gifts, Live Your Best Life. Mm-hmm. But you came out with this new mission to inspire, expand, and transform the lives of 1 million nurses and healthcare providers and everyday people, right?
Yes.
With your Uplift Your Life initiative. So, I just love that. I mean, I love that you're thinking, dreaming, and being so big, right? It's not, I'm going to help 100 nurses, 10,000 nurses. You are on a mission to help 1 million nurses and healthcare providers.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So I want to make sure we use our platform today to invite our audience. Listen, if you know a nurse or you know a healthcare worker, or Lisa even talked about police officers, teachers, even people in retail, like she said, right? If you know anyone who you look at them and you're like, they're stressed, they're burnt out, and maybe they know it or maybe they don't know it, Lisa Sanfilippo is the certified law of attraction coach that you want to put them in touch with. So I highly recommend Lisa. I know her work. She's powerful. She's amazing. She's very concrete, structured in her thinking. She's got some law of attraction, life-changing techniques and solutions to share with you. So this call today, this show today that you're listening to, it might be for you, or it might be for a family member, or it might be for someone you know, or just someone you love that they're not listening to you, but maybe they'll listen to Lisa. So we have this gift, Lisa, that you're offering, and I thought maybe you could tell us, what I know about it. It's a balanced breakthrough self-discovery assessment. I know it helps you get clear, unstuck, and more balanced. And it's a tool that you use to raise self-awareness. So tell us some more about how would our audience benefit today from checking out your free gift?
Well, yeah, thank you, Dr. Mary, and thank you for the opportunity to actually share my gift with your audience. So, this free gift is for people who desire more balance in all areas of life. And like you had mentioned, they want to get clear and unstuck, and they're actually ready to take the first step. I think my biggest message to your audience today is say yes to yourself. Say yes to the possibility of living a better life, one where you feel freedom and joy. And so this balanced breakthrough self-discovery assessment provides some very good concrete information about stress and burnouts and life balance. And, it's a dynamic process. It's something that we're always trying to strive for and achieve. But in the assessment, you actually get to take an actual assessment where you're going to look at 8 different areas of your life. You're going to look at your health, your finances, your career, your home environment, your fun and leisure, your personal growth, your significant other, however that may look, and your family and friends. And you get the opportunity to really take the opportunity to create awareness and sit back and see just how satisfied you are with every area of your life. And to be able to think about, well, what would it look like? How do I want it to look? So you get that opportunity to see where you are and where you want to be. And then by the end of that, hopefully, and the goal of it is to help you get in touch with what is your next best inspired action that you can take. What are your highest scoring areas? What are your lowest scoring areas? What are you ready to address? And one of my favorite Dr. Phil quotes is, you can't change what you don't acknowledge. So this self-discovery assessment is the opportunity for you to get truthful with yourself. And I know when I did it and when clients do it, and I've talked to so many people who have done this, it's very eye-opening to actually see it on paper and take a look at it that way. Like, we know that we might be stressed, we know we might be imbalanced in one area, but until you actually see it on paper and take a look at the whole picture in your whole life, then you just release a lasting impression that can lead one to want to act on.
Well, thank you, Lisa. And before I tell our guest exactly where to get your gift one more time and let them know what's coming next week, because you'll be back on our show next week with us, I just want to really give you a very heartfelt thank you for being here, for being in my life, for being who you are, and for having this beautiful message, this uplifting message to share with our audience today. So thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, Dr. Mary. It really has been an honor to be here and to actually be in your presence. Your work is so meaningful and powerful. And just to, have this opportunity and to have the opportunity to get in front of your audience and to help, make a difference, try to make a difference for them as well. It certainly has been a pleasure. And I just thank you for inviting me on.
Well, it's my pleasure too. And the journey's not over because you'll be with us next week. And next week we have another show planned called Feel Great and Manifest Fast, 3 powerful tools to overcome stress and burnout and manifest freedom, joy, and well-being. So if you're a listener today and the words such as joy, freedom, and well-being is resonating with you, your mind, your heart, or your soul, you're going to want to join Lisa and I next week as we continue our conversation. And I just want to highlight, Lisa, I think you ended on a few really powerful words there. So what I heard was, first of all, once you address your stress and burnout, what's possible now, right? Because stress and burnout gets in the way and doesn't make us feel very energetic. So the invite is to support you in addressing your stress and burnout. So you begin to say to yourself, what's possible now? Say yes to yourself. And then with Lisa's free gift, you're also going to discover what's your inspired next step, right? What's the actual inspired next step that you're going to take? So all that is available if you guys visit Dr.MaryOz freegifts.com. That's Dr.MaryOz freegifts.com. Love being with you guys every Wednesday. We're here on Voice America, the Empowerment Channel, at the Radical Change Now show with Dr. Mary Oz. Have an awesome week, and remember to pay attention and be brutally honest with yourself. If you're feeling mildly stressed or stressed to the max, a little burnout, or a lot of burnout. And we will catch up with you next week. Have an awesome week.
Thank you for tuning in this week for Radical Change Now. Be sure to join Dr. Mary Oz again next Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific Time and 1 p.m. Eastern Time on the Voice America Empowerment Channel. Until then, have the best week of your life.